Wish I could dance that. Now, if you can imagine 2 or 3 minutes of frantic applause and screaming, you can also imagine how hard it is for anybody to follow that act, even the ballerina herself. But she has to, because this is her solo variation. And if she plays her cards right, by being winning and sweet, and slyly underplaying her star role, she can even top her partner's ovation. Now, here she comes, the ravishing Black Swan. That's a very sweet piece. Now, the topper of toppers, the coda, with the glamorous couple dancing together, then separately, then together again, thrill after thrill. They fly, leap, jump, compete with each other for glory, and the audience goes wild. Now, if all this sounds a little bit like a circus, don't worry. It is a kind of circus, of a very lofty kind. Now, hold your hats. Here comes the coda. You know, I think it's some kind of first to have spent this much time on Swan Lake without telling you the story at all. But storytelling time has arrived, because now we come to the Firebird, which is a ballet that's all story. No waltzes, no incidental, irrelevant numbers, like that last one. Every note of this Firebird music is tightly woven into the story, making a marvelous tapestry of sound. There's no question here, as there must have been in Swan Lake, of the composer being the slave of the choreographer, supplying music on demand, by the yard or by the bar, an extra 8 bars here, 16 bars there, for the further glory of the male variation, or to give the choreographer time to get his swans off the stage. There's nothing like that. Igor Stravinsky is in command here, making the music and story all of one piece. So I think it might be a good idea this time to tell you the Firebird story as briefly as I can, so that you can enjoy the music that much more. It's based on an old Russian fairy tale about a young prince named Ivan, of course, who goes hunting and finds himself in an enchanted forest. He hears a sound in the trees, draws his bow to shoot, and stops amazed when he sees that his victim is a glorious creature, half bird, half woman, in feathers of fire, scarlet, gold, orange, purple. And the prince wants, of course, to capture this radiant figure. She's doubly desirable as a fabulous bird and as a beautiful girl, which I suppose these days means the same thing. Anyway, he grabs her, and they struggle, and the Firebird pleads with him to free her. Ivan is touched by pity and love, and when he does release her, she gives him, out of gratitude, one of her red feathers, which she says in ballet pantomime has magic powers and will protect him against all evil. And then she disappears into the night. Suddenly the scene is transformed, and Prince Ivan finds himself in a lovely garden, also enchanted, where a bevy of charming young princesses are amusing themselves by playing catch with apples. Don't ask me why. It turns out that they're all prisoners in this garden of the evil monster Koschei, the king of demons and devils. Of course, Ivan falls instantly in love with the most beautiful princess, as in all such stories, at which point nasty old Koschei descends upon them with all his ugly company of horrid little monsters. But Ivan has the magic feather and fearlessly wards off this mass attack until the climactic arrival of the Firebird herself, who hands him a golden sword with which he terminates Koschei's power and indeed his existence. As Koschei dies, his demons collapse as well. The princesses are freed. The Firebird puts all the evil spirits to sleep forever and flies away. All is well. There remains only the happy ever after scene at Prince Ivan's court, where the great royal wedding takes place before all his loving, kneeling vassals. Now that's a dandy little bedtime story, but it doesn't give you any of the real feeling of this legend, the sense of very ancient times, of primitive people, of a fantasy world in which everything is made of mystery and wonder. But all this can be told you most eloquently by Stravinsky's music, so let's not wait any longer. We're going to play, and not the whole ballet, but a suite from it made by Stravinsky himself, which contains most of the high points of the ballet. It starts with a mysterious, dreamlike introduction filled with forest sounds that are not of this earth. And then suddenly the orchestra flashes, the Firebird appears and does her solo dance. Here is that first part.